walruses. Now here at the zoo, we have two different species of pinniped. Our California sea lions, we have 2 males, and our 3 harbor seals.
Our 3 harbor seals have actually been trained to recognize a specific shape, and that shape helps them to know which trainer to go to for that training session. Our 2 females, Mira and Mika, are both 14 years old, and they were born at the New Jersey Adventure Aquarium. Now, Mira's station symbol is a star, while Mika's station symbol is a ribbon. Now, our male, Hudson, he is 7 years old. He was born at the Los Angeles Zoo, and his station symbol is a heart. So as you guys watch today, maybe you can try to figure out who's who here at the zoo.
Now, these big brown guys you see throughout here are our California sea lions. Up on the rock across the way there is Maverick. He's our younger of the 2. He was born, he's estimated to be about 6, and Maverick actually came to us from the California coast. He was found malnourished on a beach in California, and it was discovered when he went to a marine mammal center in Fort MacArthur, California, that he had sustained an injury in his right eye and had become partially blind. That being said, he was unable to return back to the wild, so Maverick came here to the zoo to live out his life, and he lives a good life here at the zoo. You can see he's learned all kinds of fun behavior since he's been here, and Maverick is doing great. That's Maverick here across the way, and right here in front with Janine is our adult male California sea lion, Diego. He's actually our newest member of our Rocky Shores family. He was born here, or not born here, my apologies. He came here earlier this year from the Indianapolis Zoo. He was born in 2004 and is a full-grown male California sea lion. Now you'll notice that he knows already a variety of behavior that he's adjusted very well to his new home here at the zoo.
Now each of our animals do work one-on-one with a different trainer during each training session. Now this variability helps to ensure that these guys avoid falling into a routine. Now a lot of the behaviors that our seals and our sea lions are trained to do can actually help with their veterinary care. They practice those behaviors every single day to ensure that any checkups that they're going to get in the future, that they'll feel comfortable with that.
That's really neat, Rachel, and you'll also notice that some of the behaviors that they can do also help maintain that awesome exhibit they have out there. There's a behavior they can do called retrieve, where if any items fall into the exhibit we don't want them to have, like a mat or a hat or a toy, we can have them retrieve that item in exchange for a reward, and they can clean up their exhibit that way, and we can also maintain the exhibit. That being said, it's also a great form of mental stimulation for our animals as well.
That sounds pretty cool. Now, Libby, I was hoping you could help me out.
How can I help you, Rachel?
I have been hearing something, and I hope that you can hear it too, but it sounds like a whistle. Could you maybe explain why I'm hearing that?
Of course I can. So every single one of our trainers actually has a whistle in their mouth, and every time an animal does a behavior correctly, they're going to blow that whistle, and the animal knows, hey, I've done a good job, and I'm going to receive a reward. And their favorite reward comes in the form of fish or squid. What do you think, Rachel?
That does not sound good to me. How about you guys? You think you really get a fish or a squid?
Up here on the boardwalk. You guys have fish and squid? I don't think so. Maybe chocolate cake and cookies?
No.
Ooh, I think we're like in chocolate cake and
We got
cookies
some
up
ice
here.
cream down here, so I think we're good for that. Now, the trainers can also use a target, and that target can be the trainer's hand or a blue buoy at the end of a stick. Now, when you see one of our seals or our sea lions touching their nose to that target, they are doing a targeting behavior. Now, this behavior is helpful so that we can position the animal's body as well as move them throughout their exhibit. Yeah, we're not hearing it down here.
I know, I'm trying to get it figured out now. You can hear me perfect. That is a really neat thing. Also, they can, it's important to note before we get too far ahead of ourselves that all of these behaviors are voluntary and based off of trust. Our trainers work with these animals on a daily basis. That being said, all the behaviors you see them doing here today, they do
That sounds pretty cool. Now, one of these behaviors is pretty awesome, and the trainer will actually raise their hand, walk in a certain direction, and that can cue the pinniped to mimic one of their natural predators. Now, Libby, does it look like you can see anyone doing it right now?
I'm trying to see. I'm not seeing anybody doing it at this moment.
Oh, we might be able to see
Here we go. Diego's doing it for us. What do you think, guys?
What kind of predator do you think Diego is mimicking?
What do you think? They're kicking the boardwalk. Sharks. They got it.
Lots of sharks down here. You guys are right. Now, the seals and sea lions will actually do behavior similar to this in the wild, and that can actually help to regulate their body temperature. But not only do seals and sea lions face threats from predators like the shark, but they also face some man-made threats as well. Now, Libby, are there a few things that we can do to help these guys out?
Of course, here at the zoo, we always have the ultimate way to do outdoor biking. As the travel life here in Utah, we not only improve the habitat for the animals here for Rocky Shores, but human health as well. Now our benefits. I don't know what's going on. There we go. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Wonderful. Now, they are ambassadors for Bob species of pinniped that rely on a healthy ocean environment to thrive. Not only is the ocean important to sea and coastal life, but it's also a vital part of all climate systems, including landlocked areas like right here in Utah.
That sounds pretty cool. Now, just as our heart regulates the flow of blood throughout our body, the oceans control the circulation of heat and moisture that goes to all parts of the world. Now, and just as our heart requires care and protection, the oceans need monitoring as well. We put a strain on the ocean as fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and gas are burned, causing temperatures to rise and putting a strain on the climate. Now, this strain causes the ocean to pump the incorrect amount of heat and moisture to all locations.
Wow, and we can see an example of that strain in the food chain of the California sea lion. So as we see the ocean warming in certain areas, we see a decrease in plankton populations. Now, plankton is a vital food source for a variety of different fish. Now, who do you think preys on fish? The California sea lion relies on salmon and sardines, so it causes them to search further and further for the fish that they rely on, thus affecting an entire ecosystem.
Now, we can help the animals of the Rocky Shores like the California sea lion as well as the entire ocean by joining together and improving the ways that we travel throughout Utah. Now, the UTA rideshare is just one of the amazing ways that we can do this.
That's right, Rachel. The UTA rideshare program is designed to help make Utah part of the solution. If you visit utahrideshare.com, you can gain access to all kinds of information, such as bike lockers, public transit schedules, you can even arrange carpools and van pools. And as we travel bikes throughout Utah, we'll reduce our carbon emissions and allow seals and sea lions right here at Rocky Shores and human health to improve along with all other ecosystems. Sounds pretty great, right, Rachel?
That does sound pretty great. Maybe we should start some carpools for
I
our
think that sounds like a great plan.
Now, how's it looking up there? Was that some more time?
I think we got a little bit more time. Maybe we can talk about the differences between seals and sea lions. We got some in here.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I'm going to share my first observation. I'm going to say size. California sea lions are obviously much larger than harbor seals. All three of our harbor seals, the smaller speckled ones, are full grown, whereas our California sea lions are Maverick in the back is still growing, but the eagle here is full grown. He's 715 pounds, folks. That's pretty big.
Yeah, that's a big animal. Alright, so I've also observed something, and it's the way that these guys swim throughout the water. So you can tell the difference between a sea lion because he uses his larger front flippers to propel himself through the water. Whereas the harbor seals, their flippers are a little bit smaller, so they're going to rely on their back flippers, and they'll actually swim from side to side.
That's right, and now we're seeing the various ways that Diego right here in front can use those front flippers on. Because they're rather large, he can pivot them underneath. He can also take his kind of scoots along on his belly. Our seals don't have quite as large of a front flipper, and so they're going to, they can't move very quickly on land. They're going to kind of scoot along on their bellies, whereas our California sea lions. And Diego's showing off his skills right there.
Yeah, I can totally do that too. Now, one last difference you're going to notice between these guys is actually in their behavior. Now, sea lions are a lot more social and vocal. These guys will often make a barking or a roaring noise to communicate. Now, these guys also have no personal space issues either. They will often lie directly on top of one another. Harbor seals, on the other hand, are much smaller, or they are also a lot less quiet. They make only really a coughing, a snorting, or a grunting noise to communicate. And these guys also like to protect their personal space by slapping their front flipper at anyone who gets too close. Now, I would like to describe myself as more as a sea lion, so maybe you guys can figure out who you guys are.
I was going to say, I don't know. Depends on the day. Some days I think I'm like a seal. I got a personal